In this video, we're going to be talking about whether you should use me or myself. Here is a sentence, similar versions of which you have undoubtedly seen at the end of emails. If you have any questions, please contact your manager or myself. Well, it may come as a surprise to you that this is wrong. You cannot use the word myself in this sentence. In order to understand why, we need to look at what type of word myself is. The word myself can be an emphatic or a reflexive pronoun. So let's look at those. Here is a list of them. Myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. So these words can either be emphatic pronouns or reflexive pronouns. Let's start with emphatic pronouns. So here is our teacher. He says an emphatic pronoun refers back to a noun to emphasize it. Here is an example. Jill moved the bed herself. The word herself is an emphatic pronoun. It refers back to Jill to emphasize Jill. Here is another example. They saw the king himself. Himself is an emphatic pronoun. It refers back to the king to emphasize the king. One more example. I painted the fence myself. The word myself is an emphatic pronoun, and it refers back to I to emphasize it. Now, there is a key point here. The word I is in the same sentence as myself. And if you're going to use the word myself, the word I has to be in the sentence. And that is the key point in this lesson. Okay, that was emphatic pronouns. Let's look at these words used as reflexive pronouns. So here is our teacher. A reflexive pronoun shows the subject acts on itself. Okay, let's put up an example, then look at that again. Jill injured herself. Here the reflexive pronoun herself shows that Jill acted on Jill. Jill injured Jill. Another example. They saw themselves. Themselves is a reflexive pronoun, and it shows that the subject acted on itself. In other words, they acted on themselves. They saw themselves. Here is another example. I painted myself blue. Here we have the reflexive pronoun myself, and it shows that the subject acted on itself. Remember, if you use the word myself, the word I must be in the sentence somewhere. So that was reflexive pronouns. Before we leave this definitions page, I just want to make one more point. The reflexive pronoun is the same as the subject. So in the first example, Jill injured Jill. And if you look at the last example, the person speaking painted the person speaking blue. It's the same person or the same people. Okay, that's enough of the definitions. Let's keep going. Why do people make this mistake? Well, people make this mistake because they treat myself as a posh version of me. Perhaps they think it sounds more polite. And to my ear, it does sound more polite. But from a grammatical perspective, it is definitely an error. The word myself is not a posh version of me. Like all the emphatic and reflexive pronouns, it has a specific use which we've just covered. So let's clear that and look at some examples. Rachel beat myself and John. In a race, perhaps. Well, here we have the word myself. Let's go and find what it refers to. Well, actually it doesn't refer to anything, because myself can only refer to the word I. So this is wrong. This should be Rachel beat me and John. Or, better still, Rachel beat John and me. It is a good practice to put first person pronouns like I and me last in the list. Let's do a bit more grammar. Look at this table. In the left-hand column you have the subjects, and in the right-hand column you have the corresponding emphatic or reflexive pronouns. I'm not going to go through this, you can pause it if you want to have a look. But here's the main point. If you're going to use one of these, then the corresponding one of these must be present in the sentence. So, to be a bit more specific about this lesson, if you use the word myself, your sentence must have the word I in it. That is a 100% rule. As it's the key point, I'm going to bring it in and just leave it as a flag at the bottom of the lesson from now on. Here are some more examples. I reprimanded Sarah myself. Here you can see the emphatic pronoun myself, and it refers back to the word I. This is good. Here we have another example. I bought myself some new shoes. Here we have the reflexive pronoun myself, and it refers back to I. This one is also good. Let's put up a similar example to the opening example. Please contact your manager or myself. Well, here we have myself, but there is no word I for it to refer to. So this must be wrong. And it is wrong. This is an imperative sentence. That is a sentence that gives an instruction or an order. So the verb contact is in the imperative mood. This means that the subject is an implied you. So with an imperative sentence like this, the only emphatic or reflexive pronoun you can use is yourself or yourselves. Pinch yourself. Pay yourselves, for example. Okay, hopefully you followed that bit. Let's clear all of that. And let's correct this example. Let's take it to the top. Please contact your manager or myself. Well, we know that myself is wrong, so let's get rid of that. What we need is me. And this is correct. It's also good from the perspective that the first person pronoun me is at the end of the list. Here's our key point. Remember, this is a 100% rule.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
If you have any questions, please contact your manager or me. Yes, that is better. And that is everything. Thanks for watching.